All righty, I'm just admitting everyone to the call. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the David Oneegs Show, our community live calls here. Before we introduce tonight's special guest, thank you to all of our regulars who have come in tonight for a really, really important call, I think, especially in the current climate. But before we kick off, thank you for being here. Karen Peel, Kelly, we have Daniel Bissica there on the line. G'day, Dano. Dean, Deb, Deborah Jane, Haley is there. Judy Moore, g'day, Judy. Megan, another Megan there. Megan Ireland as well. Melanie Reeves, hello, Mel. Mel is always here on every call. Great to have you, Mel. Melissa, Michelle, Paul Lewis, Sandon. G'day, Sandon. Long time no speak. Great to have you. Sonia, Sue Pryor, Susanna, the Black is here. Tim Craig, Varna, DC, iPhone. Karen Peel, Lana Ashford, Marie Jensen, the list goes on. Welcome, 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 everyone. So great to have you here. We're going to keep this call pretty short, sharp, and shiny because our special guest is in very, very high demand. And she won't mind me saying it wasn't that long ago. She was pretty much a struggling, broke mum with 3 kids. And she was probably, won't mind me say, she was broken physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, on all levels. She came across, I guess, an online platform that she's going to share with you tonight. And now she's a multimillionaire, multiple 7-figure earner. And her passion is really helping people thrive during this great reset. You know, we are in some incredibly challenging times, but there's also a lot of opportunity out there as well. Welcome to the call, the one and only Kristie Ord. How are you, Kristie?
Hey, legend. Thanks so much for having me here. I'm so excited.
Yeah, thank you for being here. Look, I know we've only got you for half an hour. You are on a magical rest and rejuvenation entrepreneurial retreat at the moment in the Byron Bay hinterland. But what I wanted to do, Kristie, tonight, I really wanted you to paint a picture. So if we break down the call to say 3 sections, I want to know what it was like. Where were you? Right? Where were you? Maybe spend 5 to 10 minutes. What was going on in your life? What happened? 5 to 10 minutes there. And then where you are now and what life looks like, because I really wanted to get you on because especially the last 3 years, you have defied all the odds and had incredible success. So over to you, Kristie. Tell us where it all began.
Amazing. So good to be on here. Hi, everyone. It's wonderful to meet you. So good to be here. So yeah, where I was, well, let's start there. So it was 6 years ago, basically, I had my first child on the way, and I guess I reached enough pain in my life. So I had been on the entrepreneurial hamster wheel, kind of going around and around in circles for about 5 or 6 years. 10 years ago, I quit my corporate job in a pursuit to become an entrepreneur and create my dream life. And for the first 5 years of that, I don't look at it as failure, but I look at it as a big growth journey that I was on. And I tried business model after business model after business model. So I had an eBay store, and then I had a traditional business. So I had a cafe. I tried network marketing. So I was selling, supplements and shakes to friends and family and doing these launch parties and all these things.
Sorry, Kristie. Sorry to interrupt you. I reckon there's a lot of people wondering, what was your corporate job? Can you tell us what your corporate job was?
I was in HR. So I thought I'd made it. Like I thought I'd made it. I was like $65,000 a year. This is it. This is success. I'm going to take 4 years, 4 weeks holiday a year. And that's what we think is success, right? That's what we think is like what we can do to live comfortably. And the thing that actually changed my life was I read a book called The 4-Hour Workweek from Tim Ferriss. And I started to realize that there was this whole other world out there where like all these people were being digital nomads and traveling the world and doing these really cool things. And they were earning more than a CEO would earn in a year, in a month, and they had bought back their time. So I was like, okay, I need to know what they're doing. Like, I need to know how to become that, right? So I was really committed to putting myself into rooms with people in proximity and spaces where people were creating their dream life and were creating all of this amazing stuff. And I literally left my corporate job, guys, with nothing. I had no savings. I had really bad credit. Like I couldn't go out and get a loan to start a business. Like I had nothing. I left the corporate world and was like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm prepared to do whatever it takes in order to live my dream life. And that 5 to 6 years was really rocky, starting all of these different businesses and really, I guess, trying to find a model that would actually support me to create time freedom, financial freedom, location freedom.
Sorry if I jump in. I jump in a lot. give us a sense of some of the businesses you started. I think you started a cafe at one point, like a raw food cafe. Give us a bit of a picture of all the different things you tried.
Yep. So eBay store, low ticket network marketing. I had a traditional cafe, so raw food cafe. I had a coaching business. Like I did a whole bunch of different things, and I was literally kind of throwing spaghetti at the wall, trying to see what was going to stick and what was actually going to support me to create both the income that I wanted to create, the time that I wanted to create, and also the impact. Because I think what fulfills us most is when we know that we're actually making a positive difference to other people, right? So I didn't want it to be all about like, how do I create wealth? And, you know, like it had to be a win-win-win model. So yeah, if we kind of go back 6 years ago, first baby on the way, and literally our life 6 years ago was like, we have the rags to riches story. So we were very much the people that were like driving around in a car that was breaking down at the lights. I would like pray at the lights that the car was going to like keep going because it would break down when we would stop. Very embarrassing. I would hold up a lot of traffic. I would put like $5 of fuel in my car to get from place to place because I only had $5 at the time. So I was like literally living day by day. We got an eviction notice in our apartment because we were really late on the rent. Like this was literally our life 6 years ago. And I got to enough pain where I was like, I cannot bring a child into the world with this amount of like financial stress and pressure. And so it became a non-negotiable for me to make a really radical change in my life and to do something different and to do something where it would actually support me to where I wanted to get to. So yeah, that was kind of where I was at 6 years ago, very much in a place of frustration, very much in a place of, you know, not sure what I was going to do to be able to provide for my child. And
how much, I guess, yeah, give us a sense of how much financial fear was going on. Were you like filled with anxiety? Was it keeping you up at night? What was it like at that point? You've got your first on the way, you're being evicted, you've got no cash, you can't run your car.
Yeah, like so much anxiety, so much stress, so much pressure, so much like, yeah, fear, like real fear of like, are we going to be homeless? And yeah, just like this real uncertainty, you know, always living with so much uncertainty, yet also going to bed at night every single night, dreaming of, you know, and visualizing like I could see myself living an incredible life. Like I could see myself impacting thousands of people across the world. I could see myself living this life and doing exactly what I'm doing now. I could see that every night. I would go to bed and I would be like, it would just come to me. And so I was like, okay, well, if I can see it, surely that means that it can be created. Like it's already created in some respect, right? If I keep receiving these visions and these downloads and like all of that. So yeah, that was where things were at 6 years ago. And I'm happy to, yeah, share what happened next if you want to go.
So I think this is the pivotal point in the story, really, because obviously something changed. And, you know, I've been so impressed watching some of your content about the mindset stuff that you talk about, because you alluded there that, you know, you had these visions, you had a better plan that you had conceived of in your mind. You just weren't sure how to bring it into reality. But so what changed? What happened? Tell us what happened from there.
So then I guess because I could see, like, I just truly believe that if we can see this future version of ourselves, the future version actually already exists. And I don't want to get too into the spiritual aspect of this.
Too woo-woo.
Too woo-woo. But like, that was my belief of like, if I'm going to bed every night and I can see this, there's like, there is that version of me that already exists. And it is now my responsibility to really like, accept that and unleash that. So I could see that, but I didn't know how. I didn't know how that was possible because my experience so far in business at the time I viewed as, you know, like they all were failures. I didn't really see them as stepping stones that led me to now my path. I saw them at the time 6 years ago as like, well, I failed at everything else or nothing else has worked for me. So how, if I do something else, why would anything be different? And so I had to really work on shifting my mindset and, yeah, really asking, I guess, whatever you want to call it, God, source, universe, whatever. For me, it was like I identify as like call in what you want, right? Like we can all open ourselves up to what we truly want. So I was like, all right, show me something that is actually going to support me to create true financial freedom, time freedom, and location freedom. And
just to backtrack for this, so you had a real sort of moment where you poured your heart out and your soul out to the great divine consciousness out there, call it what you will. You really got to that point where you were asking, you put it out there.
Yeah. I mean, it's putting yourself out there. Like it's asking you shall receive, right? Like I truly believe that it's like whatever you want, you can receive it. There's no limitations. There is like limitless possibilities. So yeah, that was what I was really setting an intention on, of like calling in exactly something that was going to support me to do that. Beautiful. And that happened. And I saw it and I took action. And within 90 days, when we really committed to this pathway, we had created $120,000 and we went on to have a 6-figure month. And then we went on to create $1 million cash in 11 months.
Wow.
So, yes.
11 months. So what I wanted to ask you, because I watched some of your videos and you spoke about, you got into this sort of mode where everything just started to flow. How did that happen? Like you got yourself so primed and so ready, and I guess this opportunity appeared. We'll share more about that with people later. But I'm just really curious about this mindset you got yourself into, and then it came to you. It was like a floodgate opened.
Yeah, I had to really look at like taking full radical responsibility of my life and really realizing that the place I was in was due to the decisions and actions and behaviors that I had created. And when we can actually create a really self-responsible life and awareness, we realize that we're not a victim to our circumstances and that there is actually no one else to blame but ourselves. And it's actually very freeing to get to that place where it's no longer about external circumstances or external things that are happening, but everything is actually a direct reflection of what's going on within. So if there's stuff going on within, it is externally going to represent itself in our life. So for me, because my mindset was where it was at, and I was very much in this blame and victim, it was showing itself externally. Like that's why things were chaotic around me. That's why I was always struggling. And so I had to really rewire my mindset in every single way. Like I worked with a lot of practitioners and healers and coaches that would support me. Like I used to literally, but why I was behind on my rent a lot was because I would literally put my last $120 into like an NLP session to help me rewire my mindset and shift things around money. Because I realized that if nothing changes, nothing changes. And if something big was going to actually shift, then I needed to be showing up as a different version of myself. And I call that like our millionaire identity, right? So I had to start making decisions from a different place before the $1 million was in my account, before I was the millionaire. And this is where people get it so backwards, right? They say, oh, I'll wait until I'll make a change when I've got the money. Or I'll do that when I've got the time, or I'll do that when I've got the money. And I realized that if something radical was going to shift in my life, then I had to start showing up as though I already was the version of me that had created the $1 million. So I started making decisions from that place when actually in my bank account was $0. Right? Which a lot of people can't really grasp because they're so stuck in like our societal conditioning around do that once you've got that, or once you've got the time, then put time into that. And it's like, or people won't do things because they don't have time. And it's like, isn't that the whole point of why you want to make a change? Because you'd never have any time. So I had to start viewing things as like, if I want things to change in my life, I have to be willing to invest financially and time-wise, which is two things I didn't really have. I had to be willing to invest those things in order to buy back my time and in order to become financially free. So that was really the distinct shifts within from like a mindset level and how I actually started to show up in terms of my actions and habits and beliefs and behaviors. Those all had to be in alignment with the 7-figure version of myself. So I would ask myself every day, what decisions would the millionaire identity of myself be making? And I started to live my life in alignment with those decisions and making those decisions. And that was how things rapidly progressed in my life, because I wasn't waiting anymore. I was like, I'm going to quantum leap. I'm going to quantum jump. I'm going to create extraordinary results in a short amount of time, because I'm willing to show up in a totally different energy and identity than I ever had before.
It's mind-blowing because, you know, we read a lot of this sort of thing in different books. Like, I'm a big fan of Joe Dispenza and so on, and talks about living in the future, or starting to live as your ideal self. But that's very much in the theory. Like, you've actually proven that this works. You've gone out your first year, you made $1 million cash in your first year. We're now 6 years down the track. I don't know if it's inappropriate to ask or not, but can you give us a bit of a, I guess, a ballpark, what that has turned into over the last 6 years?
Yeah, a lot, many millions.
Many millions, right?
Many millions. So,
and this is radical, Kristie, because I think what's happening now as far as the programming goes, and I wanted everyone, you know, all of our audience to know that you're wide awake, you're fully unjabbed, you know, you're awake to the whole agenda, but this agenda hasn't dragged you down and put you into a fear space either. Rather than that, you've done the opposite. You have continued to grow, expand, and live this incredible life whilst this so-called great reset is going on. What could you add to that? What's been your mindset, particularly over the last 3 years, when there's been a lot of fear? There's been an ever-present vibration of fear of the boogeyman, fear of financial collapse, fear of this, fear of that, the other, fear of your neighbor, fear of the air, fear like, yeah. And you and your team have just gone, okay, that's nice, we're going here.
Well, we actually had, while there was a lot of companies and businesses that were pivoting or literally shutting down around us, we had 17% growth during that time, which was massive, like totally massive. We had, things were just going bonkers in that time, because I think a lot of people woke up during that year, especially in 2020, and started to really see things for what they were. And I mean, this is the thing, right? We really need to empower ourselves to have ways that we can financially support ourselves, so that we aren't reliant on any system. We're not reliant on any government. We're not reliant on anyone outside of ourselves, apart from like really owning that ourselves. And so, the last 3 years we've seen massive growth, because more and more people are just waking up and realizing, you know, all the bullshit that's gone on, and don't want anything to do with that. They're really like, I feel like sometimes we as humans have to get to enough pain, right, before we actually make a change, which shouldn't happen like that, but it does. And I feel like enough people got in enough pain during that time. And, you know, this is the thing, like, even a job, people are like, oh, I need to, you know, stay in my job because it's secure. And it's like, that is not secure. Like, being in a job where you could literally be made redundant or fired at any point if you aren't performing at your absolute highest or showing up in the exact way that they want you to show up, like, they can just get rid of you. There's not that loyalty, right? So it's like, we have to, and what we've really been able to show people over these last 3 years, especially with more and more people waking up to this, is like, we've got to have income opportunities that are actually going to support us to really fully financially empower ourselves, so that we're not a slave to any system. We're not a slave to any government. We don't even have to buy into all of that that's going on, and we can really live with that sovereignty. So I'm very much about, where can we create that sovereignty for ourselves in all aspects of our life?
It's a really powerful message, because so many people were pushed into a corner to keep their job. That was how they pushed them into this medical experimentation. It's like, okay, you don't want to take our experiment? That's fine. Lose your job. Don't feed your family. Don't pay your mortgage. And it was that sort of bullying and coercion, which was, I think, was incredibly disgusting to see. However, like you said, every cloud has a silver lining. There's been a lot of silver linings come out, where now people are willing to to think outside the square. We have another special guest, do we? Going to tune in?
Oh, it's just my dessert. I'm at a retreat. I booked myself into a retreat the other day, and they're just bringing me, desserts and all the things. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Very, very nice, very nice. Well, look, we won't keep you for too much longer because I know you are on a,
That's
on a very
okay.
special
No,
retreat.
we can keep going. Where I'm all good. Yep, you can ask away. I'm happy to share whatever you want me to share.
Yeah, well, what I wanted to, I guess, ask you from here, Chris, is like when people come to you and they're struggling, right? And they're in that situation, they've lost their job or they're under enormous financial pressure. Say, for instance, the mainstream media this week has been filled with articles about the cost of living. Australians can't even afford their electricity and so on. When someone comes to you right from the start, obviously you've got a business vehicle and a model that they can use, but how much emphasis are you placing, I guess, on the mindset coaching to get their head around that this is up to them if they're going to make a change?
Well, mindset is where it all starts, right? Like we need to be able to cultivate belief in ourselves and what it actually looks like to be self-led, self-responsible, self-aware. And a lot of people aren't that at the start because of their societal programming. And, many people are working in jobs where they're told what to do over and over and over. And so people just kind of are used to living in a certain way. So one of the biggest focuses is on identity work, is on mindset work, is really being able to support people to understand that they can really, 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 truly cultivate and create the dream life that's true for them, and we're all going to have a different way that looks like. And I've got a mate of mine, and his dream life is to literally go golfing every day, and I'm like, no, don't ever want to go golfing myself, but whatever is great for each individual, that's what it's about, right? And when I first started my journey, I was asked some really, really powerful questions that in our discovery process that I actually had never even asked myself before. And like, if you think about it, when you work in a job, you're not asked things like, what's your dream life? What do you want to create for yourself in the next 12 months? What does it look like for you in 5 years? How can we actually support you to create that for yourself? When you work in a job or for someone else, you're literally just like, you're hired and you're told what to do. And in our space, we're very much about like, what are your dreams? What are your visions? What are your desires? Like, if you looked back in 5 years and you were looking at what happened in 5 years, what does that look like for you? And every day, because of this approach and because of this way that we're supporting people to actually tap into that and cultivate that from day one, more and more people, like globally, literally their dreams are coming true every day. And it's mind-blowing because it starts from that place. It starts from like our vision. It starts from our dreams. It starts from our desires. It starts from actually realizing what is truly possible. And there's nothing more special about me. I literally am a mum that I don't like to call myself an everyday chick, because I used to say that, and I realized that no, I'm not everyday, because I chose I chose things and I made decisions that not everyday people make.
Mm-hmm.
But in theory, it's like I'm just like everyone else. I'm a mum. I've got 3 kids, and I'm just someone who decided to really step in and back myself and trust myself. And that's what we support people to do, is cultivate belief and cultivate certainty in themselves that actually this is possible, that actually you can radically shift your relationship with your money, your mindset, yourself, and that we can really, really empower ourselves to create everything it is that we truly want to create. And that this other person is no different to me. It just is a decision. And it starts with a decision. So that's really, I guess, the starting foundations. And then, I always truly believe that success is both the inner work and the strategy work. We can't have one without the other. I could tell you exactly how to go and create a 7-figure online business, and it's going to come down to you, right? It's going to come down to your belief. It's going to come down to your certainty. It's going to come down to your actions, your habits, your behaviors. So if we can support you with that at the start, and then also give you the strategy, these two are a match in terms of it's a win-win, right? You can't have one without the other. And I truly believe that everything that's showing up in our external environment is literally just a direct reflection of what's going on within. So when we shift what's going on within, our external environment starts to radically shift around us. And when we start to do things like work on our money story, or work on our relationship with money, or work on our mindset, then we start having different experiences in our life with these things because we've made a shift within. So everything starts first with like what's going on within, and then we apply a strategy, and it's like, boom, match made in heaven.
Beautiful. And then, one thing I wanted to ask you, Kristie, is, obviously you've made, millions of dollars in the last 6 years. When you see the doomers and gloomers come out, the financial collapse is coming, you can't get cash out of the bank, all this sort of stuff, when they come out, it doesn't seem to affect you in any way, shape or form. You're just like going, well, that's nice, I'm going here. Give us a little bit of a sense of your thinking around that. Do you just ignore it? Do you just press on? Talk us through that.
I literally don't entertain any of that. Like, I don't even know that half of that's even going on, because it's not where my focus is. It's like, where is your focus? When your focus is there, then you get caught up in the doom and the gloom. And, I feel like a lot of people lost a lot of time, to be honest, in the last 3 years, because they were very, very caught up in all of this like fear and doom and gloom. And it's great to create awareness about what's going on so that we can empower ourselves. But if we're not empowering ourselves and we're just staying in the doom and gloom, like, what's the actual point? So for me, like, when all this stuff's going on, and sometimes I hear at the markets, the local markets, of like people, they're gathering together and they're like, oh, about the cash and about the financial collapse and all this, like, I literally am not bought into any of it. All I'm focusing on is like, how do I create more impact? How do I help more people? And just like stay in my lane and keep creating what I actually am focused on. Like, it's like what you focus on gets created. So for me, I'm like, I'm just focused on what I do want and what I am creating and how I'm supporting other people to create that as well. And because I went through the rabbit hole of like 2020. I feel like I went through so much of all of it that I just ended up creating more fear within myself, more doom, more gloom, got caught up in it, had so many conversations around it. And I was like, no, like energetically, I'm not feeling aligned to these conversations anymore. I'm focused on this. So like, who wants to create that? Let's go, let's run. And so I'm not focused on the doom and gloom that's happening. I'm just very much about how do I create more sovereignty for myself and for others, and really create that awareness.
Yeah, beautiful. Well said. Inspiring chat. Kristie, I'm going to let you go shortly, but before I do, because I know you've got a busy night on, but you have invested a lot of money into something called the Freedom Era that you built with a couple of colleagues as well. Can you tell everyone on the call a little bit about the Freedom Era, what it is, how they can start to learn and start on this journey of personal development and wealth creation?
Mm-hmm. So when I really 6 years ago was like, I need to find something that is going to support us to create true financial freedom. I was asking the universe, show me what it is. And it literally fell into my lap. And it was a high ticket business model that actually has legacy wealth. So that's why I'm now financially and time free, is because I receive a legacy wealth, meaning that I get paid every single month for the rest of my life, and it is willable to my children. So basically, we created a platform that supports that high ticket company to basically run with automation. So we really wanted to create a way for people to actually create true time freedom and financial freedom, and really buy back their time so that they can be living their dreams and their visions. And we wanted to create it with something that was already proven to work and convert, and something that's really a win-win-win model for everybody. Right. So we created a platform that's very much about the education of how do you create a 7-figure online business. And we already have the product and the company that we support people with, so that they don't have to go out and find those things. When you affiliate with a product or a company, for example, you've got to go out there and you've got to find, what is that product going to be? You've got to then go and hire mentors. You've got to learn how to sell. You've got to learn how to market. Like there's a lot involved. And oftentimes, even when you start your own business, you've got to have your own staff and all of these things. So we found a company that was, proven to work and convert, that people want, need, and love, that are utilizing this product and company every single day anyway. And we basically created a platform that is automated, has the education that takes you through step by step exactly what to do to build a 7-figure business. and it's duplicatable, meaning that you don't have to be the one that's holding people's hands or doing all of the hard work, right? Like we've taken a lot of that heavy lifting away from you so that we're taking that on. So for example, I have like 1,200 high ticket products go through my business every single month, and I'm not doing any of those calls. We have an entire support team that's doing that. So I can be then, so it's a true model that's created automation, high ticket profit, legacy wealth, and myself and other people that have chosen to tap into this are literally being able to live those dreams, without having to be stuck on our computer all the time or social media all the time or phone calls all the time or any of these, so that we can be really supported in what we're doing.
Genius. Absolutely brilliant. Kristie, I wish we could have you for longer. I hope we can do this again. I know you've got to run. We are going to hear quickly from Dan and Danielle, who are great friends of mine and two of your proteges, I guess you could say. And you've pretty much taught them everything you know, and they've once again proven that the model is successful. Dan and Danielle, can you guys are you guys unmuted? Hold there one sec.
Yes, mate, here.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, hey Dan and Danielle, look, if you could both in a minute or two each just share a little bit about who you are, your story, what happened, and what happened when you met Kristie Ord, she took you under her wing.
Yeah, awesome. I'll actually let Danielle go first. So nice to hear Kristie's amazing story and how she's been able to help us with our, true freedom in all areas of our life.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much, Dave. And so good to see you, Kristie. A little overview of me. I've come from a corporate background as well. And then I transitioned into being a personal trainer. I had my own PT business and I was literally just hustling my butt. I was just not earning any money at all. I was getting up early, working late at nights, training PT clients, but not getting ahead financially. And it was really when I came across this business model that totally changed everything for us. Like we're doing a low ticket network marketing company, and that's where we met Dave. And yeah, all the coffee shop meetings, presentations, late night events, all the training, explaining all of that for like teeny tiny commission, to moving across to this. And it really has absolutely changed everything for us. I closed my PT business within 12 months of doing what we're doing now with Kristie. And yeah, from then on, we're 4.5 years in, we've made a lot of money and we're like one step away from legacy income as well, which is super, super exciting.
Yeah, awesome. Danielle. Dano?
Yeah, mate. So I've known Dave for over 10 years and we actually did a low ticket network marketing company and it was great. We had some fun, made a couple of dollars commissions, went on some good holidays together. But financially I was struggling. I was doing some fly in, fly out work, and I also had my own landscape and design business where I was working my butt off. I was working 50, 60 hours a week and really wasn't getting ahead financially and was getting burnt out. So when we came on board, about 4.5 years ago, Danielle and I got started and, we were able to obviously retire Danielle, and she, is doing the business, hand in hand with Kristie, and, they've earned some incredible money. But then when we hit, the COVID time and, I couldn't go to work anymore and my, income dried up. And so Danielle and I, we just decided to go all in and, we did all the trainings in the Freedom Era platform and we changed our lives in a massive way where we were able to, replace my income. I didn't have to go back and do the fly in, fly out work. Our business absolutely boomed through that time. And Danielle and I were able to buy our dream home here on the Gold Coast, $1.5 million, buy our dream cars. And now we live a life of, freedom, choice and impact, like what Kristie said. And we're super blessed to be part of, obviously, the Freedom Era Academy and training platform and company. But also, just to be, where we are today and be able to give back and spend more time with our family. So super, super blessed where we are today.
Yeah, awesome, guys. Thank you for sharing that. Been a great chat. Kristie, are you still there?
I'm here. Here, legend.
She's still here. Legend. Takes one to know one. Just in wrapping up the call, Sarah has just put a link in for anyone who wants to join the Freedom Era Academy and go, I guess, what you call on this discovery process, what this business is, does it suit them, can they do it? What are your final comments to anyone out there who is struggling, who's got doubts in their belief, their mindset and so on? Kristie Ord, what are your closing thoughts for the call tonight?
Oh, the closing thoughts, the finale thoughts.
The finale.
Look, I guess if this is resonating with you guys, you know, if what I've shared tonight is resonating and you're really looking to fully financially empower yourself and actually looking for a true pathway that can support you to create financial and time freedom, it is possible. Like, it is possible. And there's a lot of things out there that are going to tell you, oh, you put this amount of money in and then you get this return, and then next minute the whole thing collapses. And there's so many things, right? But this is the real deal. This is the golden ticket. Like, literally, my husband and I right now are about to go to Vegas next week and be celebrated and awarded with an extra 25K per month in legacy income. That's an extra on top of what we're already receiving, meaning that this is income that's coming through every single month till we die, that's willable to our children. And so if you're sitting there and you're like, is this really possible? Is this really real? Like, I really just want to, support you guys to check it out for yourself. Come in, do the discovery process. It's just doing the discovery process itself is like going to change your life because you're actually going to get, for once, really, really, really crystal clear on exactly what you want to create. And you can see if the business model that we recommend does support you and align with you and your goals and where you want to go. For me, it was a total no-brainer, because when I was presented a very clear pathway, I was like, all right, cool, I can do that, follow those steps, and that's where I can go. Now, of course, it takes action and it takes, you know, your mindset, and you've got to do the work. But I created legacy wealth within 2 years. So I truly believe that like, you guys can do this, right? So jump in, you've got nothing to lose. You can jump in and do the discovery process, have a call, really check things out, do your own business due diligence process within the platform, and then we can go from there.
And the discovery process, Kristie, is $49 US, correct? For the first
$49 US, you're going to come into the academy, you're going to get access to the discovery process, have a call, learn exactly what we do, and then you literally have access to all of our step-by-step education from 7 and 8 figure industry leaders that come in and actually teach everybody. So I'm really, really excited for you guys and can't wait to see you in the community real soon.
Yeah, beautiful. Look, thank you to Dan and Danielle for their short catch up there. But Kristie, you know, I see a lot of coaches out there and a lot of people who talk a big game and promise the world. I think you are a cut above. I think you're outstanding. You have proven that through, I guess, burning desire and the willingness to take massive action, that anything's possible. So I take my hat off to you, and I just, like, the comments coming in tonight, people have really, really, really appreciated what you've had to say. It's been very uplifting, your focus and your mindset. Not letting any of this doom and gloom get to you. You're just living your best life, and that is awesome to see. So thank you so much for being on the call tonight. Thank you for all the people whose lives you are touching, and for being on the call tonight. I hope we do it again soon.
You're so welcome. Thanks so much. Thanks for having me. Great to meet you
guys. Great chat. Thanks, Kristie.
Bye.
Thanks, Dan and Danielle. We will see you soon. Thank you to all of our guests who are on the call tonight. The recording will be on the website on oneegs.com. If you go to the comments there, you'll also see the link to the Freedom Era. I'll put that in the Telegram chat, and we will do it all again very soon. Over and out. It's been a great call. See you soon, folks. Bye for now.